Dibendetto has gained a pretty big following, and despite some rumors that his ride may not be safe, he really turned some heads last Sunday.
Lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the
YouTube, welcome back to another video. I apologize for the inactivity in the recent days. I was on vacation from Thursday to Sunday. I was going to make a post-race review, but I only saw like really the last 30 laps, saw bits and pieces of before that, and I didn't think I really could give you the definitive review besides just point out who finished where and all of that. So I felt like that's not really worth making. You already know where everybody finished. So anyways, that should be back coming this week at Chicagoland as we are in the NBC schedule. But yeah, I got a couple other videos planned. I'm kind of saving it because I'm going on vacation again for a week this time, starting next week. So if you see still a little bit of inactivity here, I'm just making videos for the future. But anyways, yeah, let's get right into the video. We're going to be talking about Matt Dibendetto and his cloudy future here at Levine Family Racing. So a couple days before the Sonoma race, it was announced that, or at least reported that, Matt Dibendetto was on a 2-year deal but with a 1-year option, and we're starting to see a lot of drivers have that. Daniel Suarez, and that was really actually it, but I think Kurt Busch had it last year maybe. Anyways, but that is a team option, and it's kind of, I mean, it's good for the teams but not so good for Matt Dibendetto, because actually despite having a really great Daytona, he wrecked out. I think he had a pretty decent Talladega. He hasn't had the best of seasons, and I don't know if that's really all him or Levine Family Racing. He's had a worse average finish than that of Casey Kane, and especially considering Chevy was on a down year last season. That's kind of surprising to me. And Casey Kane, that's no hate to him. He's a great driver, but I feel like Matt Dibendetto should be doing better in Toyota and low-key Gibbs equipment. But again, I feel like Levine is just, getting the ropes, and I don't think, obviously they're not going to be a furniture row right off the bat. And I think they were worse off, because before Furniture Row went to Toyota, they won a couple races. They had been competing. I believe Truex even made the Final Four. So they definitely had the skill, they had the equipment behind it, but Levine Family Racing was a top 20 car at best during right before. So yeah, I think they'll improve, but I think it's going to take time. Like, I think a lot of people expect them to become Furniture Row, and they haven't. Matt Dibendetto, he hasn't been bad. I think he had a couple good races here and there, and he either wrecked out or actually finished well. But I think they're still learning, and I think if they give him another season, which is kind of cloudy, which we'll get into for in a second. But yeah, I feel like if they can give him another year, maybe they can improve on this year. He seems to, as of recently, be running better, but he definitely needs to improve to keep that ride. It's Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell is the one that is kind of got people scared that Matt Dibendetto will be out of a ride. Levine Family Racing has expressed a want to open a second car. The logistics of that without that many sponsors is very low. But I guess Front Row has 3 cars, so go figure. But it doesn't look like Christopher Bell is going to get into Gibbs, as it looks like Jones is going to get an extension. But the only thing is that Stanley Tools, Craftsman, and DeWalt all contracts are up, because they're all in the same contract, and they're all, I didn't know this, but they're all the same company, but they make the same products. So if somebody down in the comments could really explain to me why the tool industry is kind of a monopoly. I actually never knew that. I thought it was weird that they all three sponsor the same, car, but I didn't really put much thought into it. But yeah, they're all owned by the same company, and they all make the same stuff. It kind of sounds like what Disney is doing to the movie industry right now. But anyways, that's beside the point. We're not a business channel here. But if they pull out their sponsorship, much like Nationwide, even though they weren't signed for next year. But you know what I meant. That could very well be a domino to fall that puts Erik Jones out of a ride and Christopher Bell in the 20 car. Now, do I think Joe Gibbs should do it? I don't think Erik Jones has done that bad. I mean, he's, especially recently, he's just kind of been quiet. He's been still getting top fives. I don't think he had the best race at Sonoma, but he's still been getting you results. It's just a win column that everybody else at Joe Gibbs has wins. Erik Jones has not been able to get wins. He's been close at Kansas and Michigan. No, he wasn't close, but he was still doing. It was Pocono. He had third. So he's been there. He's been almost there, and he's won at Daytona. So I feel like he's going to get another win, obviously, this season. But I don't know. We'll see how that situation. But how does that relate to Matthew Dibendetto? If Jones is out of a ride, that puts Bell in the 20, which then means either Jones goes to the 95, which is possible, or they keep Dibendetto. Low-key, I hope they keep Dibendetto because I feel like he has everybody in the garage is really rooting for him, and he's a great driver. Yeah, and to kind of end this video off, I just want to kind of talk about Matthew Dibendetto. He has not had the best way of things. He hasn't had the best ride to the Cup Series. I mean, he went to Go Fast Racing and raced there for what, 3 years, and really outperformed the living shit out of that car. I mean, he was like 10, I think almost 10 spots above the second highest average finish in Go Fast Racing history. That's kind of crazy. He hasn't done as good here, but it's just adjustments, and I think recently they have been doing better. So we'll see how they do, in the coming weeks. But Matthew Dibendetto, he's definitely a talented driver. We saw what he could do at Daytona. We saw what he did at Sonoma, finishing 4th, and really he just went through the field. I mean, he gained. I mean, I know, yes, he had cleaner tires, he had better tires, but still, I mean, he gained 3 seconds on Kevin Harvick, and it's interesting to see that even back at Go Fast Racing, he's been better at the tracks where the engine is not necessarily the biggest component. The driver's skill tracks seem to cater more towards Dibendetto, and that is because it's more skill than engine, and that's really a good sign that your driver is talented. He hasn't been getting the He has not been getting the most out of the Levine family racing equipment, in my opinion, but he definitely probably got one of the best finishes in the history of that program team, whatever, just last Sunday. And that definitely is great momentum for a driver, and we'll see if he's able to keep that through Chicagoland. Daytona's coming up. He had a really great race there, and if you remember, Casey Kane was actually leading. I think it was strategy, but still, he had a good finish as well. So he could very well maybe even steal a win. I mean, would we really be surprised? I mean, he had an almost dominant performance at the Daytona 500. Obviously did not win. He got wrecked. But yeah, I think Matthew Dibendetto, we'll see how he does at Chicagoland. This mile and a half performance has not been there. But he did pretty good at Bristol. He did pretty good at Martinsville. I mean, not exceptionally well, but he was still in the top 20. So that's really all I got for today. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on Matthew Dibendetto, the old Christopher Bell and Erik Jones situation. And yeah, that's all I got for today. Make sure to leave a like, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.